Hello students, this is Dr. D, and I want to talk to you just briefly about self-assessment. In my opinion, one of the most important skills a good social worker has is the ability to self-reflect. That means you can look at what you're doing from an impartial, objective standpoint and determine if what you're doing is effective. And in my personal and professional opinion, social work writing practice is no exception. So you need to be able to assess what you're doing in an appropriate and functional manner that's going to improve your writing skills. So I'm going to give you some tips today, knowing that you're going to watch another video about how to proofread and revise your writing, but I'm going to give you some brief information here. Number one, I would say, is don't take feedback personally. Frequently, students get upset that someone says their work is not easily understood or their work has a lot of grammar errors. Perhaps in the past, the student has been told that their work is excellent and their writing is excellent. Well, you can have some very good writing episodes, but other times and other piece content may be more difficult for you. So every writing piece is not created equally by any student. So be aware that if somebody's giving you feedback, whether it's another student, whether it's a peer, whether it's a professor, they are giving you feedback with the understanding that you will be able to impartially evaluate that feedback and apply it in the future. So don't get emotional. Number two would be try to detach yourself from your writing product. The writing product is not you. The writing product is a separate entity apart from you. So you should be writing for the reader, not for yourself. And you should be thinking about what outcomes need to happen based on that. Just try to think about your writing piece as different from yourself. The third thing I would say is get to know your own writing strengths and weaknesses. In this class, you should have just completed your Where's-Waldo proofreading assignment. And I'm curious about how well you did. This is one aspect of self-assessment. You should look at assignments like this and think not to yourself, oh, I did terrible. I only found, 10 errors, and there were 40 errors in that assignment. You should think to yourself, I found 20. I found half of those errors, and I haven't even completed this course yet. By the time I complete this course, I should be able to find all those errors. Finding 20 errors is a lot of strength. Some of these errors are more subtle than others in that particular writing piece. So it's important to be able to determine which aspects of the writing proofreading assignment you were able to do well and which ones were weaker for you. And then in the future, you'll know that you may need to go extra slow when you're proofreading for spelling errors, for example. There are several spelling errors in that particular assignment. So did you miss those? A lot of them were homonyms, which are words that sound the same but have multiple spellings because they have different meanings. So homonyms are tricky. Your spell checker won't pick up a homonym. But I want you to be able to see the homonym, pick it out, and if you struggle to do that, you know that's an area you need help in. And perhaps you need to have other students proofread your work, or make sure that you're proofreading for homonyms specifically, as an example. So, my third point of getting to know your own personal strengths and weaknesses is very valid, and I hope that you are able to do that throughout this class. Lastly, I will say that to become a masterful proofreader and reviser is not an easy thing. I still constantly have trouble finding errors in my own work. You know, one of the things that happens is you have looked at this piece multiple times and you don't even think to yourself, well, I could have possibly missed that piece of work there. I missed that error. How could I miss it? I've looked at it 20 times. Well, you can still miss it because you're so close to it, you read right over it. Also, if it's an error common to you, it's one of your writing weaknesses, then you will miss it just by virtue of not being very good at that in the first place. So we all have our weaknesses, and it's important to find people that can help you. One of your assignments for this week is the OWL proofreading webpage. One thing I would like to point out about that webpage is that it is very important when you're, oh, where did it go? Oh no, I had it up. One of the things I would say is that let me just go to the syllabus and I'll find it for you. One of the things I think that's important when you're doing that kind of a work is that you do have this tools. So here is the OWL proofreading page. I would say that you need to make sure you read through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these web pages on proofreading. These general strategies given here are excellent. You know, taking a break, leaving yourself enough time, reading it aloud. These are all strategies I recommend to all my students. So I'm going to let you read through that on your own, but do make sure you go through all 6 of those web pages because they are excellent and they're brief. You're not going to be reading all day long. The Purdue OWL's done a great job of setting up their website, and it's not extremely lengthy, but it's very helpful. So take the time to go through that. Make sure that you don't take things to heart, and make sure that you get to know yourself in writing. This is a very important part of this course, and I hope by the end you have a great handle on what is going on with your own writing and have made even some improvements throughout the course. Thank you, and I'm sure I will talk to you again.